Oh, we can finally get down to business. Let's talk about some really important topics intellectually. Hello? Oh, baby boy. Can I get a oh yeah, oh yeah? Can I get an oh yeah? Can I get an oh yeah? Free Donald Trump, vote Donald Trump, go to the gym, fatty. Free Donald Trump, go to the gym, fatty. Vote Donald Trump, fatty. Vote Donald Trump, fatty. Vote Donald Trump, fatty.
At the same time. Y'all ever seen him? He got a fat ass pregnant.
Hello?
Your gym is a waste. I don't know what you're wrong, but get your money back.
Vote Donald Trump, go to the gym, fatty.
You're always telling me to go to the gym, but I'm waiting on you to actually go work out. Not just record weird videos.
It's not true. I go to the gym almost every day.
Yeah, and do nothing, bitch. You sitting up there looking at fat Korean.
No. There ain't no awesome steam room in my gym. I use the gym.
Well, regardless, it's not working for your body, bitch. You're still fucking out of shape.
Stop projecting, fatty. Go to the gym and vote Trump. Stop projecting, fatty. Go vote Trump. Go vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty.
If I did, I would have real results. Fucking out of shape, fucking cokehead, disabled
Cokehead?
fucking bitch.
I don't use cocaine.
Yeah.
I just like the way it smells.
You got like 30 fucking cell phones, bitch. Fuck you. You cocksucking bitch.
Jesus, stop projecting. Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty.
Go to the gym and lose weight, bitch.
Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty. Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty.
You're losing it from the rest of your body. It's transferring to your fucking stomach.
You're projecting.
Stop drinking beer. Stop drinking alcohol. I don't know what you're drinking, but your stomach is the size of mine, bitch.
Oh, it's huge. Woo. What is your waist size exactly from the torso, not the hip?
It's the size of your fucking balls in that PPR that I got with you with your legs open. Your balls were so swollen because you were so backed up. It's the circumference of your backed up ass scrotum.
I wish we could go out to a nightclub on a Saturday night and you could...
I would never go out with you if my fucking life depended on it, bitch. You're a fucking psychopath.
Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty.
Boy, go to the gym and do something.
Go to the gym and vote Trump,
fatty.
fatty.
Give those Obama phones back to the government. Let someone that really needs to get it instead of you that is running mind control operations on Clubhouse.
Hello? Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty.
Hypnosis.
Go to the gym.
Hypnosis doesn't
vote
work
Trump,
on
fatty.
Go
to the gym and vote Trump, fatty. Go to the gym. Vote Trump, fatty.
Let's make one up for you.
Go to the gym.
Go get a life. Get off of Clubhouse. You only have one friend and you met him on Clubhouse. Get out the house. Go touch some grass. Cause you are a skinny fat ass.
Go to the gym and vote for Trump, fatty. Go to the gym, vote for Trump, fatty.
You're a fat skinny fuck. You're a fat skinny bitch.
Go to the gym and vote for Trump, fatty.
Get out the clubhouse.
Go to the gym, vote for Trump, you fatty.
Get out of the house.
Go to the gym.
Say, don't calm down. We got a white man as a mob. It's gonna be quick to kick you out.
She's been on Clubhouse for years. She needs to get off the app. She's getting too old. It's starting to get tired.
Chickens need to take Adam's mama's off this picture.
Oh, you got that.
I found out where chicken work. He work at the Western Sizzle. You know what he do? You know he wash the dishes and they pay him very low.
Hell yeah, get like $1 an hour and for the stickers powder.
Jazzy, where you at?
Yeah. Potato sort is high and big.
You were trying smoking with your daughter in the car, you taking shit too far.
In the back.
I don't even care, because guess what? She got a lot of hair.
Damn.
I had one hair when I was a baby. That's crazy.
Nigga know nigga know me. Quick to kick the door. Jazzy son color on the wall. It's real slow.
Alright, that was good.
Jazzy, it's okay.
Good know they got no
Jazzy, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about a thing. Adam's gonna send CPS at his door, and his daughter gonna go.
Because I don't have no parents' rights, so it don't matter anyway. He ain't doing nothing to me. I don't give a fuck anyway.
That's crazy as hell. Maybe we need to call on your baby mamas and send them old hoes to jail. That's why you popping pills for all your trauma. Damn. Let's call all the baby mamas, y'all.
Yeah. Y'all already know one of them.
Leno with the band.
Yeah. Hey, I did talk to her.
She don't even need to talk to you no more. You can be mad when she found a grown nigga that
He got a nice body,
Well,
though.
that's not my wife.
you don't get to see your daughter no more. And then you gonna grow up and be like, nah, I shouldn't have been fucking up when I was young.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all be too invested in club. I always stop believing what you hear on here. But, yeah, that ain't my business. She be texting my girlfriend.
So Jazzy, later text you Jazzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my real life. Yeah.
Yeah, she
This
texted me.
is
She was
real
like,
life,
"Who the fuck
nigga."
are you, bitch?" I told her, get your baby off that seat. Take her to rehab.
Take your son to school.
He don't go to school, bitch. He can read. He is. But he can read, though, so. I'm not giving a fuck about what he's talking
Frank. How you doing, my brother Frank?
Hello.
I
Earlier, the white
I am Sula. I swear. I am Sula.
the white people think that we're not acting crazy.
You gonna chill out today, Frank?
Oscar, I swear I am sober today.
Sober today?
Yeah.
You gonna start drinking?
I just started drinking, but it is just some drinking.
Oh, so you can go.
Right, promise. I will be cool.
Taylor, you don't push close your nose in there. Maybe Edmund. And chicken, yeah, you're right. It's 3 people.
What's up, Oscar?
What's up, Kitover? How you doing? I was been calling your name, but
I'm at work. Yeah, you know I'm at work.
That's the gateway drug. I told her.
What is?
As long as.
So, you know I'm at work, right? Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, so why would you call my name?
I forgot you was at work.
Oh,
As long.
Making that bitch think she the shit. Oh, quick to humble a bitch.
Who the fuck you talking to?
I'm just talking to Jill. I'm talking to myself and shit.
oh, okay.
As long as we have not.
Niggas be hating. Niggas salty.
Niggas really be putting caps on these 30-year-old kids. That's why these bitches be thinking they the shit. I'm quick to humble a bitch though. Bitch, shit out. You ain't that bitch.
as long
I never went through none of that, so I can't relate.
We're not talking about.
No, I'm just saying. I never went through that, so I can't relate.
Just saying, you must feel guilty, honestly.
No, I just said that. That's why I asked you. You said no, but I'm saying I never. No, you just asked me. I just. Oh, but no, hold on. I just asked you, Tato. What you getting mad for? You just, bitch. You. Why you getting mad? What you mad for? What you mad for? What you getting mad for? Tato. No, I am at work. How about you go to work and stop getting on drugs? Get off them drugs and take care of your kid, bro. Get off them drugs and take care of your kid, bro. I don't know who you talking about. No, because I just asked you a question. That's what it was. What you get? You weird. You weird because you over here saying subliminal stuff, but I just said I would never went through that. So, what are you mad for? What are you mad for, druggie? What you mad for, druggie? You know what? What you mad for? What you mad for? I am. While I'm talking shit, I am. And what? And what? And what?
Yo, Tato.
Control.
Tato, chill out.
I was gonna control your monkeys.
What
Hey, Oscar, put on your son. I said something to that bitch. Did she say something to me?
I asked who you were talking to. You're right. I did. I asked who you were talking to. You said he was, and I said, and at that point, we was not having a conversation about me saying, "Oh, I think it was you." I just said I never went through that, and then you got mad. You took it to left, not me. You was on the fence for no fucking reason.
9 in the morning, on a call with his bitch.
Now he want to sing the deflect. Look at that.
Do you think he was high? Do you think he was high? Do you think he was high?
Fuck the law, fuck the shit. Three got hit. On a war with this shit, nigga. I don't want no war, nigga. Then this shit, I told them niggas come outside and slap the shit. You know, war with this shit. You don't want no war.
Where are you drunk? Where are you high?
Top bullets through his windshield, they knocking off his top. Saying to me,
Are you a dad?
Are you a dad? Said I lived and shit like this. Any nigga went to my nigga's grave, took a picture, he got hit.
They do. Are you a dad? Are you a dad?
They screaming rest in peace to him.
Are you a dad? They do. Are you a dad? Are you a daddy? Are you high right now?
But the 6.
Are you high right now?
3 got hit. No war with this shit. You don't want no war, nigga. You don't step harder than this shit, nigga. Gotta step hard around this bitch, nigga. I told them that.
For real, shut him up.
I think that they do is high.
Yeah.
That little Tato, he the one that I keep these fucking guns. Got this freak on text to me, she fell in love with him,
Might have seen him on Ronald now.
Say Jazzy off them ecstasy, she fucked for hours off them drugs.
What is wrong with me with you, already?
And he keep them fucking guns. Got this freak on text to me, she fell in love with him. Did
you attend the church today? Did you attend the church today, Tato?
You rich sticky niggas for the I ain't got no trust, got no. I'm still taking.
Why don't you reply to the question?
Let a nigga play with. We gonna take your face, nigga. Me and bro, we race niggas.
Do you think
I ain't gonna take, but niggas know they ain't gonna pay.
I don't think you are deaf.
Where is she back?
You are not deaf, my friend. You are not deaf from what I see.
If I really take your
He said, what's wrong with him? He's slow.
He's low or he's high?
Yeah,
High or low? High or low?
Call up Joey, fuck you up. I ain't gonna stop shooting this bitch out blood guns.
Lil
I'm
Bang.
my bruh, but this nigga I ain't got no friends.
Chicken, what's up, man? We can't talk today. How y'all doing today, man? We can't just let Tato rap to us. It's Sunday and I don't want to hear this. He got about 3 minutes on the stage, too.
Trying to understand Tato, but he doesn't reply at all. It's very disturbing.
I'm down low.
Oh, you finally told to me, Tato. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Be on fit.
Why the fuck he told me down low? What the fuck wrong with him, bro?
Oh, what he say?
Oh,
Bro, don't nobody say that nigga. See, this the same nigga that be snorting pills and shit off the mic. Like that shit cool or something. You crackhead ass bitch. Stupid ass nigga. Don't nobody take you serious, boy. Don't nobody take you serious,
what
boy.
do you want?
Say you die, you ever shot at me?
Don't nobody take you serious,
I
nigga.
got the nigga.
I was asking questions to Tato, but he feigned to not
What's
to
up
hear
with
me.
you? What going on?
You got this shirt over here.
Oh,
me.
my bad. My bad. I come back over there and get it. I'm back in Florida.
5K, hi. Tato just fainted not to hear me, so it's very disturbing.
You said what, Frank?
I did a work back before I even eat.
No, I just wanted to ask questions to Tato, but he
This nigga wake up and snort pills and don't even brush his goddamn teeth. The fuck?
Just hit one. You just hit one. Tato, I just heard you hit that motherfucker, too.
I'm gonna be honest out there. I went to Tato room yesterday, and he was normal. And then he came to your room and started acting like he was high. I was like, oh, I see what he was doing.
He really be high.
I'm talking about, I'm telling you, he was in his own room chilling.
I will tell you something. Tato,
See, Trent, I have regular conversations with this little bitch ass nigga all the time.
Me too, that's how I know he can chill.
I have regular conversations with him. And then he get high and start tripping and shit.
He don't be high. Y'all talking about Frank.
Man, he be high.
You know I
We
hear
talking
you.
about Tato.
I know.
Yeah, Jazzy, I ain't made a clubhouse room in probably a week. I've been with my girlfriend, baby. That ain't gonna work.
Tato, you had a room the other day.
Hey, the other day, you said
maybe,
That was yesterday.
maybe
It
Tato
was
is
me.
Hey, FaceTime me right now, Jazzy.
maybe Tato is
You
simply
want
exhausted.
some drugs?
He might be.
Yeah, let me see. FaceTime.
Technology
Let us see. FaceTime with that. No, FaceTime.
No, Jazzy, FaceTime him right now, Jazzy, and tell me if that's that nigga in that picture right there.
Just tell him if he's hit his line.
No. I think that Tato might just be.
They don't stop talking to me, bitch ass nigga. You high ass nigga. You snoring pills ass nigga. Shut your little stupid ass up, boy. A high nigga get his ass whooped too. I don't give a fuck if you high. I'll beat your ass in real life, for real.
Yo, I hate them.
Maybe he might be exhausted.
Exhausted.
I don't know what the fuck wrong with that little
He
nigga, man.
said he exhausted, but he said exhausted.
I don't know what the fuck wrong with that little nigga. He like a little annoying ass brother, but at the same time, my little niggas don't act like him though. My little niggas don't act like that. They don't act like that.
I run faster than you think.
Where'd you get those in your
Shut the fuck up, you broke ass, cold ass, running ass nigga. You was a real fucking cocaine. What you forgot? Stand up business. Got over here and told your motherfucking truth. You was on the phone swearing Tony gang. You would never succeed, bitch. You was a faggot. You wanna go fuck with a bitch, gang. Where all that energy go? What's up? You were just screaming. What happened? What happened, little buddy? What happened, little bitch?
Tato, are you high right now, buddy? I came back to my phone. You're just yelling.
Don't kick one.
I'm trying to figure out where
Oh my God, you just be wanting entertainment when I'm you don't.
where did you get those chips at, Jazzy?
You was a lame, bro. You don't say shit about me to somebody else say something. Yeah, hold on. You just want to beat. I like the music. You say something. Nigga, T5 already got you 5K. You already got exposed, but you ain't what you claim to be. Hey, This how we gonna fix this, right?
Shut the fuck up. We ain't gonna fix shit, nigga. Ain't no hold on. I ain't holding on shit, nigga. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You what you're doing. You were just screaming when I'm trying to be calm and be.
I don't let them say what they gotta say, Taylor.
No, I'm saying, Taylor.
Fuck that. When I was trying to be calm and collected, you was.
Taylor with Charlotte. Let them say.
You in Charlotte, right? I'm in Atlanta. We 6 hours away from each other.
Fuck that. I don't know you was Charlotte, nigga. We don't give a talk about it. You know I'm in Charlotte, nigga. Fuck you talking about, nigga. I don't know you in Charlotte, fuck, nigga. Fuck you talking about. I don't give a fuck where you gonna be. Let me know when you here. Fuck, nigga. I don't wanna talk about it, nigga. Shut up. I don't wanna talk about it. I can't even hear you. Shut the fuck up, nigga. I can't even hear you, bro.
I can't believe y'all fucking over Jack.
Oscar, you my witness. He just said he's gonna be in Charlotte tomorrow, right?
He said Friday.
Say no, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Yeah, 12 o'clock.
Tomorrow morning. Everybody hearing this, right?
Hello?
Alright, 5K. Alright, 5K. You don't pull up on me. You can't say shit to me on Clubhouse no more, right? You know that, right?
I can't wait to beat your ass, boy.
I don't want to talk no more. You said you're going to be in Charlotte in the morning. I don't want to talk
I'll be in
no more.
Charlotte tomorrow. We ain't got to talk about it no more.
You know?
You want to see the paperwork? I'm going to show you, Lo. Hold on.
Bro, you ain't even, bro, you finna just drive through and drop some shit off.
This shit's ain't Concord, North Carolina. Concord, North Carolina, and Charlotte. You better pull your pussy ass up, too.
How the fuck I'm gonna pull up? Nigga, you know you gotta pull up on me. Stop fucking faking, nigga. Stop faking, nigga. Stop fucking faking, nigga. 6 to 6.
Bro, you can't give yourself a free body.
Nigga, you just said you finna, oh, bro, nigga, you just said you finna drop a load off. You think, what the fuck I'm finna pull up to you? Fucking trucking crazy, nigga. Fuck out my face, nigga. Fuck, I'm gonna come kill you at the warehouse, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga.
He ain't arguing with me, nigga. Shut up.
What is wrong with you? You got a big ass number.
Fuck you talking about I better pull up. Fuck, I'm gonna pull up to the fucking trucking company, nigga. Oh my mom, nigga, I ain't never done my shit, nigga. Where I'm at right now, I'ma be here, nigga. 25-8, nigga, bunt down, nigga. Fuck you talking about, nigga, and I ain't never scared of shit, nigga. I got a switch and I go blow this bitch, fuck, nigga. Fuck you talking about, you better go ass, nigga. Oh my mom, you better go ass, nigga. On Javon Harris, you better go ass, nigga. Fuck is wrong with you? Think you finna come to my video and play with me, nigga? You dumb, nigga. Fuck you, what you talking about? You talking about I better pull up. You just said you finna go drop some shit off in a dumbass semi truck. Fuck, I'm finna pull up to the warehouse. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Y'all niggas go ahead doing all that faking, bro. That nigga take y'all like that's all that other shit. My mama, nigga, I ain't never capped. Why I'm at right now, I'm gonna be here 25 days. My mama, you ain't gonna play with me, nigga.
Hello?
Bitch, will you please stop saying hello? Ain't nobody calling your bitch ass. I'm tired of hearing that shit, huh?
Who's saying that?
Hello? Every few minutes, Frank says.
Oh,
Hello? Hello?
Ain't nobody calling you. Hearing those, bitch.
That's why you got a big old nose.
Nigga talking about, I better pull up. Fuck, I'm pulling up to, nigga, the warehouse. Fuck, nigga.
Yeah, that warehouse with that big ass field in it, nigga. That's the way he wants to come to.
Yeah, this is good out there.
Hello?
Ain't finna talk no bitch.
Hey, what's your bitch ass up, nigga? Mama bitch. Hey, Mrs. Doubtfire, shut the fuck up for the last time, bro. Nobody fucking care if you be on it.
He would have got the damn up.
I go with that big ass nose on shoot with. I'm gonna put that nigga nose on. He gonna be on the right side. Going down with him, bitch. Bro, you be out here with them goddamn crackers and shit.
So what, nigga? If I don't want to be around your slow ass, I don't want to be around your slow ass.
He has a pink nose.
He got big.
That's all you can talk about. Nigga, you want to kill me. It's the white people don't want to kill me. It's the white people don't want to kill me. This song gotta kill. This song gotta go on to kill the white people.
You know what?
I ain't trying to
At least we can respond.
want you to live.
Don't never among your ass. I catch your ass on the backside, the black side, bitch.
Get out.
You shouldn't be on. You shouldn't want to be on nobody's ass. That's how gay stuff is.
Alright.
I was just saying, you dirty ring, you have an ass, fag ass bitch. Damn.
Don't change your pants.
Somebody who's some nasty ass, dirty ass, fucking socks you got on the skate head, man. Beat the bricks out your fag ass. You come in there, you just talk all that shit, I knock your mental teeth ass the fuck out, fag ass shit. You big ass bitch.
Oh, you start, hey, yeah, you ain't gotta do all that gangster shit with me.
Shut your fat booty ass up, ho, you fat booty ass nigga.
Yeah, I'll be in Charlotte
You got
tomorrow.
that fat ass booty over there, you don't know how to act.
I'll be in Charlotte tomorrow.
And I'll be at your mama house today, bitch.
Oh, you in Charlotte? Oh, yo,
I'll be in Charlotte. I'll be in
I'll
Charlotte
be at your
tomorrow.
mama house today. I'm gonna fuck this shit out your mama and all the
I don't know, Quinn. Meet me at the mall tomorrow. I'll be in Concord. Meet me at the mall.
Bro, do y'all hear this nigga, bro?
Oh, your bitch ass can't leave the house. Your bitch ass can't leave the house.
Mother here, mother here, mother here, mother here, squabble.
Mother him and around.
Meet me at the mall tomorrow, Tito.
And they throw for the scrub.
Oh, cause your little ass can't fight. Yeah, I'm done arguing with you, bro. You ain't talking about shit.
You ain't got no fight.
You see how these little niggas is, man?
You ain't got no fight.
They can't fight. They can't. I'm not gonna get
Body, your bitch ass ain't worth no body, nigga. You ain't worth no motherfucking body, nigga. Who the fuck is you? We don't even know what you look like, nigga. We don't even know what you look. I don't even know who to look for when I pull up. Who do I look for? Is it dark? Is it like dark? Is it dark skin dude?
All right, everybody, welcome back to Clown House. We have a bunch of retarded clowns we're observing. They're wasting their Sunday. It's been a great observational moment, but I don't think they're really gaining anything from this experience. So I'm just going to go on and talk. I hope the moderators will let me just continue to talk, and I will put a little something for you on YouTube.
Power of now, in that eternal now, what we've done is what we've done. The emphasis on importance of what we do, I think, is therefore very striking and something we should really think about when we have opportunity cost. Whatever we do is something we haven't done or don't do, and when we do something, we make a statement in eternity about who we are and where we are on our journey. And when we lose something tragically, you can't come back. That's the proper definition of tragedy according to Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He said tragedy is something that can never be regained, and life is precious, and therefore life is tragic, because when people we love are gone, they're gone from the physical plane. Actually, in Crowley's introduction to this book, he says some interesting little gems about that, which I'll come back to at the end. Our works make us so much what we are that our body itself, as we have said, receives the modification and sometimes the complete change of its form from our habits. And that's actually Aristotle. He's thinking there of Nicomachean ethics, which is the form of virtue ethics, the idea that if you repeatedly do a virtuous thing or a good thing, a good habit, then it will form into a virtue within yourself. And that's an older form of ethical thought that has largely been thrown away today. And for many decades now, ethicists and universities have argued it might be a good replacement for Judeo-Christian morality, is to bring back good old Greek virtue ethics. Eliphas Levi says, a form conquered or submitted to becomes a providence or a fatality for all one's existence. Those strange figures which the Egyptians gave to the human symbols of divinity represent the fatal forms. Typhon has a crocodile's head. He is condemned to eat ceaselessly in order to fill his hippopotamus belly. Thus, he is devoted by his greed and his ugliness to eternal destruction. Man can kill or vivify his faculties by negligence or by abuse. He can create for himself new faculties by the good use of those which he received from nature. People often say that the affections will not be commanded, that faith is not possible for all, that one does not remake one's own character. All these assertions are true only for the idle or the perverse. One can make oneself faithful, pious, loving, devoted, when one wishes sincerely to be so. One can give to one's spirit the calm of justice, as to one's will of the almighty power of justice. One can reign in heaven by virtue of faith, on earth by virtue of science. The man who knows how to command himself is king of all nature. And that is really beautifully said, and this is the idea of the eternal opportunity to transform oneself entirely, and it's what Michel Foucault called the technology of the self. A lot of people like to only focus on 1/10 of what people like Foucault wrote, and then they have lobotomized the rest of these thinkers of 20th century philosophers so that they can return to older forms of philosophy that they also don't fully understand. It's really sad. I mean, philosophers shouldn't be treated this way, and our intellectual traditions shouldn't be thrown out, baby and bathwater and all, in exchange for older modalities that we are then abridging and politicizing and don't even understand. It's just, I won't get too much in that. You all know what I think about the anti-intellectualism of our day. We are going to state forthwith in this last book by what means the true initiates have made themselves the masters of life, how they have overcome sorrow and death, how they work upon themselves and others, and the transformation of Proteus, how they exercise the divining powers of Apollonius, how they make the gold of Raymond Lulliant of Flamel, how in order to renew their youth they possess the secrets of Postel, the re-arisen, and those alleged to have been in the keeping of Cagliostro. In short, we are going to speak the last word of magic. Which is so much ironic, since he continues through the final practical secrets of magic to give next to no practical secrets or any sort of insight into how to do magic. In fact, the best example or guidance Eliphas Levi gives on practical magical exercises is to refer you to read St. Ignatius's exercises, which of course is what Ignatius used to found his Order of the Society of Jesus, also known as the Jesuits. And there's a lot of wonderful things those little laddies have done throughout time, and some not so great things. But they do continue to this day to produce some of the Roman Catholic Church's greatest intellectual theologians, who usually get censored. I mean, the semiotic Christology by the Jesuit Roger Haight, Jesus, symbol of God. That's the first Christological study that looks at Jesus semiotically from a Roman Catholic, and it did not get the imprimatur of the Vatican. It was not considered proper reading for a good Catholic, just like Teilhard de Chardin's writings were not. You know, the Catholics are very famous for condemning their people in their own lifetimes, even burning them at the stake and then building statues to them centuries later, saying, oops. But Levi recommends, if you want to learn magic, read attentively the book entitled The Exercises of St. Ignatius, and note with what magical power that man of genius operates the realization of faith. He orders his disciples to see, to touch, to smell, to taste invisible things. Now, I did do these exercises for many years myself when Ignatius was in fact my baptismal name. He wishes that the senses should be exalted during prayer and to the point of voluntary hallucination. This is interesting, right? Because this is actually very old techniques and shamanic teachings coming back into the Catholic Church through St. Ignatius and the Jesuits. And that is something worth considering. You are meditating upon a mystery of faith. St. Ignatius wishes in the first place that you should create a place, dream of it, see it, touch it. Sounds pretty astral to me, eh? If it is hell, he gives you burning rocks to touch. He makes you swim in shadows thick as pitch. He puts liquid sulfur on your tongue. He fills your nostrils with an abominable stench. He shows you frightful tortures and makes you hear groans superhuman in their agony. He commands your will to create all that by exercises obstinately persevered in. Everyone carries this out in his own fashion, but always in the way best suited to impress him. It is not the hashish intoxication which was useful to the knavery of the old man of the mountain. It is a dream without sleep, an hallucination without madness, a reasoned and willed vision, a real creation of intelligence and faith. Thenceforward, when he preaches, the Jesuit can say, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have heard with our ears, and what our hands have handled, that do we declare unto you. The Jesuit thus trained is in communion with a circle of wills, exercised like his own. Consequently, each of the fathers is as strong as the society, and the society is stronger than the world. Of course, Livy has to end with some very doxological praise of the church, just to, keep himself in the good books of some certain folks in his life. So, the Key of the Mysteries is without doubt Livy's greatest book. Crowley's right about that. But when he does get to practical magic at the very end, he has basically nothing to say about it. Either he is keeping some profound secrets, which of course would be readily available from most of the books published today, or he didn't actually practice magic, which is what everyone says. Everyone says he never practiced magic. He was just an armchair occultist. Most people agree with that point. And I'm sure some scholars might prove otherwise eventually. But going back to earlier, there's some interesting stuff that I thought we should look at. Because Livy is very good at big picture stuff. He's very good at placing the role of the mysteries in human society and human thought, as much as you got to understand the hermeneutic horizon and the limitations of his own perspective in his time and place. He died in 1875, the same year Crowley was born. Crowley, of course, famously is convinced that Crowley is the reincarnation of Eliphas Levi, just as most people with issues like to believe they're the reincarnation of someone famous, as opposed to just like, oh, hey, in a past life I was some monk and I castrated myself with a rock because I had issues with the church's teachings on sexuality. Now, if you told me that was your past life, then I'd believe you. But if you're Cleopatra or McGregor Mathers, fuck off. Sorry, I'm joking. I mean, believe whatever you want. Like, each to their own. I don't care. And I could be wrong about past lives. Maybe we all were. Maybe we were all Cleopatra at the same time. Think about that. So here's some of Livy's best stuff that he's ever written. And this struck me, I remember, very young in life. On the brink of mystery, the spirit of man is seized with giddiness. Mystery is the abyss which ceaselessly attracts our unquiet curiosity by the terror of its depth. Mystery is the abyss which ceaselessly attracts our unquiet curiosity by the terror of its depth. The greatest mystery of the infinite is the existence of Him, for whom alone all is without mystery. And we're talking, of course, there of God. For Livy, this would also be Jesus. For some, it would be Osiris. For some, Odin, or whatever your savior thing is. For the Kabbalists, this would be Ari Kanpin, the greater face, as opposed to Zawir Anpin. Comprehending the infinite, which is essentially incomprehensible, he is himself the infinite and eternally unfathomable mystery. That is to say that he is, in all seeming, the supreme absurdity in which Tertullian believed. Tertullian was a theologian and got himself into some interesting situations with some of his radical statements. Necessarily absurd, since reason must renounce forever the project of attaining to him. So we can't become part of God with reason. Necessarily credible, since science and reason, far from demonstrating that he does not exist, are dragged by the chariot of fatality to believe that he does exist, and to adore themselves with closed eyes, right? We can't, reason and science can't prove that God doesn't exist. And in fact, most people of reason and science back in these days, this would be 145 years ago now, did believe in God, but they couldn't explain God, they couldn't disprove God, and therefore they just believed wholeheartedly. And though what God belief wasn't quite actually as prominent as they think in those days. In fact, belief in God in 1875 had become a very puritanical, socialized, normative thing, which is why Nietzsche wrote what Nietzsche wrote during that time. That's why Nietzsche wrote that God is dead, because it was the puritanical, social, moralistic God of society that led to no spiritual transformation at all, and just maintained the authoritative power structures and cultural and social norms of their day. I mean, this is the battle that was going on culturally in their time as opposed to ours. And that's why Levy says, are dragged by a chariot. Reason and science are dragged by a chariot of fatality to believe that he does exist, and to adore him themselves with closed eyes. Right? Why? Because this absurd is the infinite source of reason. The light springs eternally from the eternal shadows. Science, that Babel tower of the spirit, may twist and coil its spirals, ever ascending as it will. It may make the earth tremble. It will never touch the sky. God is he whom we shall eternally learn to know better, and consequently, he whom we shall never know entirely. The realm of mystery is then a field open to the conquests of the intelligence. March there as boldly as you will, never will you diminish its extent. You will only alter its horizons, and that is one of the best insights you could find, really. You got to just go forward, go into it all the way, take things to their conclusion, to their finality. I mean, this shiny syndrome stuff, this path hopping, this gathering of badges, this dabbling in every little thing which your higher self tells you to dabble in is a bunch of bullshit. Everyone with any spiritual accomplishment will all, without exception, tell you that. You need to take things to their conclusion. Otherwise, you haven't done them at all. Levy says, the realm of mystery is then a field open to the conquests of intelligence, right? So we are, he said earlier, touching on God being a co-created experience with us. God doesn't reveal God's self. God hides God's true self so that we strive to find God's true self, and in finding God's self, we create our own selves and therefore God's self. Get it? Yeah. In our journey, as we push forward, we alter the horizons. That's the only thing we actually change. We change the context and the place that we are in of our perceptions, and that is the gold. To know all is an impossible dream, but woe unto him who dares not to learn all. We can't know it all, but you better try. That is what you dare to learn. And who does not know that in order to know anything, one must learn eternally. If you stop learning, you stop knowing anything at all. And it's true, you see this all the time with people who just sort of given up and turned into lemmings staring out the window on the bus. It's like even the things they do know, they don't really know anymore because their brain's not working. They're not questioning, they're not thinking, they're not even challenging the things that are true that they know, let alone the things that are untrue. And you can see that degradation of the spirit and the soul. There's like almost a separation of the layers of the aura where they're just cut off at the astral level from everything beyond in the outer aura. They're just completely locked into their emotional, mental inner aura space, and that mid-level that transmits them, that veil that they can penetrate, the paraket, into the macro and the outer aura that connects us to all things. They can't feel it, and they get glimmers of it, maybe what they would call intuitions, but they don't have that connectivity. Then there's, of course, people who get locked into their own aura and their own connectivity. They create God within themselves so much that they stop experiencing nature, and then you get locked into the God of yourself and think what you're communicating with is macro and higher neshama, but is actually your own ruach. You've made God yourself, and that's also a terrible mistake to make. And it comes from, again, not being willing to learn, and because the main practice of being willing to learn eternally is openness to the other, and that is the big other of the other. It sounds like these aren't technical terms, but they are. They say that in order to learn anything well, one must forget it several times. I mentioned this earlier. I love this part. The world has followed this method. Everything which is today debatable had been solved by the ancients. Sort of, maybe. Before our annals began, their solutions, written in hieroglyphs, had already no longer any meaning for us. The man has rediscovered their key. He has opened the cemeteries of ancient science, and he gives to this century a whole world of forgotten theorems, of syntheses as simple and sublime as nature, radiating always from unity and multiplying themselves like numbers with proportions so exact that the known demonstrates and reveals the unknown. I like that. To understand this science is to see God. Of course, it's not true that we knew everything and forgot everything. Like, that's not overall true at all. To understand this science is to see God. The author of this book, as he finishes his work, will think that he has demonstrated it. Then, when you have seen God, the Hierophant will say to you, turn around, and in the shadow which you throw in the presence of this son of intelligences, and by intelligences, by the way, here, we're not talking about reason and science, we're talking about spirits. That's what intelligence means. Spirits are angels, even, because angels are just spirits on a mission from God. There will appear to you the devil, that black phantom which you see when your gaze is not fixed upon God, and when you think that your shadow fills the sky, for the vapors of the earth, the higher they go, seem to magnify it more and more. I love that beautiful language, and well translated by Monsieur Crowley. For the vapors of the earth, the higher they go, seem to magnify it more and more. The Hierophant will say to you, turn around, in the shadow which you throw in the presence of this son of intelligences, there will appear to you the devil, that black phantom which you see when your gaze is not fixed upon God, and when you think that your shadow fills the sky. It's beautiful. To harmonize in the category of religion, science with revelation, and reason with faith, to demonstrate in philosophy the absolute principles which reconcile all the antinomies, and finally to reveal the universal equilibrium of natural forces, is the triple object of this work, which will consequently be divided into 3 parts. We shall exhibit true religion with such characters that no one, believer or unbeliever, can fail to recognize it. Right, so he's talking about breaking down the important parts of religion so that you don't have to be religious for these things to matter. And that's one of the interesting roles occultists have often played throughout time, is to say, look, okay, you got a problem with the word religion, you have a problem with the fact that humans have created institutions to transmit knowledge since shamanic times when we were all eating rocks. Fine, you got a problem with that? Let's break it down. We shall establish in philosophy the immutable characters of that truth, which is in science reality, in judgment reason, and in ethics justice. So truth in science is only true if it plays out true in reality. In judgment, we have to be able to reason through things. So You hear someone making a judgment you can't reason through. It's not part of truth. And in ethics, we need justice. This is one of the things we like to overlook, eh? Finally, we shall acquaint you with the laws of nature, whose equilibrium is stability. And we shall show how vain are the fantasies of our imagination before the fertile realities of movement and of life. We shall also invite the great poets of the future to create once more the divine comedy, no longer according to the dreams of man, but according to the mathematics of God. Mysteries of other worlds, hidden forces, strange revelations, mysterious illnesses, exceptional faculties, spirits, apparitions, magical paradoxes, hermetic arcana, we shall say all, and we shall explain all. Who has given us this power? We do not fear to reveal it to our readers. There exists an occult and sacred alphabet which the Hebrews attribute to Enoch, the Egyptians to Thoth, or to Hermes Trismegistus, the Greeks to Cadmus, and to Palamedes. This alphabet was known to the followers of Pythagoras and is composed of absolute ideas attached to signs and numbers. By its combinations, it realizes the mathematics of thought. Solomon represented this alphabet by the 72 names. This is the Shem Feresh, of course, written upon 36 talismans. Eastern initiates still call these the little keys or clavicles of Solomon. Yeah. You want to talk about magical work to do? I think I've been working with the Shem angels and the 72 spirits for like 20 years now, and I'm not nearly done. There's a lot of fields of magic you can get into, and you should stick with one until you feel you've mastered it. These keys are described and their use explained in a book, the source of whose traditional dogma is the patriarch Abraham. This book is called the Sefer Yetzirah. With the aid of the Sefer Yetzirah, one can penetrate the hidden sense of the Zohar, the great dogmatic treatise of the Kabbalah of the Hebrews. But it's written in Aramaic, of course, right? In the Middle Ages. The clavicles of Solomon, forgotten in the course of time and supposed lost, have been rediscovered by ourselves. Without trouble, we have opened all the doors of those old sanctuaries where absolute truths seem to sleep, always young and always beautiful, like that princess of the childish legend who, during a century of slumber, awaits the bridegroom whose mission it is to awaken her. Some beautiful chemical wedding symbolism from the Chemische Heirat von Christian Rosenkreuz, oder? Yeah. After our book, there will be still mysteries, but higher and farther in the infinite depths. This publication is a light or a folly, a mystification or a monument. Reflect, read, judge. Eliphas Levi. And it's really amazing what Crowley says about this book, and I like Crowley's words in this case, and so we're going to look at them. What Crowley says is that this volume represents the high watermark of the thought of Eliphas Levi. He is no longer talking of things as if their sense was fixed and universal, which he definitely did in his early work. He is beginning to see something of the contradiction inherent in the nature of things, or at any rate, he constantly illustrates the fact that the planes are to be kept separate for practical purposes, although in the final analysis, this turns out to be one. Yes, the four worlds are separate, but one. The four trees are separate, but one. They're in one tree, they're in each sephira, all that jazz. And we need to separate things out to think about them, to experience them in certain ways, like imagine the ladder. Imagine Jacob's ladder is a rope ladder, and it's only when you uncurl it that it becomes all these different steps. But when you roll it up and sling it over your back, it's just one object, one tool that contains many steps within that tool to achieve the ultimate tool, which is, of course, knowledge and conversation. Aleister Crowley goes on to say, this and the extraordinarily subtle and delicate irony of which Eliphas Levi is one of the greatest masters that has ever lived, have baffled. Of course, when Crowley says that Levi was a master of something that has ever lived, he's also subtly saying, therefore I am as well, since he's the same person in his mind. That's a great little cheekiness from Crowley. Have baffled the pedantry and I goes, this and the extraordinarily subtle and delicate irony of which Eliphas Levi is one of the greatest masters that has ever lived, have baffled the pedantry and stupidity of such commentators as Waite. He means A.E. Waite, of course. So he's right there in the first paragraph of this book, smashing Waite over the head. Poor Arthur Edward Waite, getting called a pedant, which means pedantic, of course, and overly detailed to the point of losing the track of the main strain of thought. And stupidity, so stupid, a stupid pedant. Oh, lovely. So funny, right? English has hardly a word to express the mental condition of such unfortunates. Dummheit, in its strongest German sense, is about the nearest thing to it. He's calling Waite a Dummkopf. He's saying dumbness, the essence of dumbness, is about the nearest word we have to describe how stupid these people are. Crowley, Crowley, Crowley. It is as if a geographer should criticize Gulliver's Travels from his own particular standpoint. But he's right about Waite, I think, in a lot of these ways. I mean, a lot of those guys got super structuralist and lost track of the movement of how thought works. When Levi says that all that he asserts as an initiate is subordinate to his humble submissiveness as a Christian, and then not only remarks that the Bible and the Quran are different translations of the same book, but treats the incarnation as an allegory, it is evident that a good deal of submission will be required. Crowley says when Levi agrees with St. Augustine that a thing is not just because God wills it, but God wills it because it is just, he sees perfectly well that he is reducing God to a poetic image reflected from his own moral ideal of justice, and no amount of alleged orthodoxy can weigh against this statement. So what he's saying is, Levi's gained a nuanced sense of theology here, and Christology especially, because he's saying God isn't making just good things, but things that are good are therefore made by God, and therefore he's flipping the process of creation of God into one where we are co-creators with God or of God. And that is a nuance and a mystical form of thought that comes into most thinkers later on in their life. And Crowley's noting that Levi has made this little transition Kabbalistic in very many ways as it is. Note that his very defense of the Catholic hierarchy is a masterpiece of that peculiar form of conscious sophistry which justifies itself by reducing its conclusion to zero. One must begin with one, and that one has no particular qualities. Therefore, so long as you have an authority properly centralized, it does not really matter what that authority is. In the Pope, we have such an authority ready-made, and it is the gravest tactical blunder to endeavor to set up an authority opposed to him. Success in doing so means war, and failure, anarchy. This, however, did not prevent Levi from ceremonially casting a papal crown to the ground and crying death to tyranny and superstition in the bosom of a certain secret Areopagus of which he was the most famous member. We're talking about some heretical theology and Gnosticism strains there. When a man becomes a magician, he looks about him for a magical weapon, and being probably endowed with that human frailty called laziness, he hopes to find a weapon ready-made. I never related to that thing. I always found in magic from the get-go that, like, nothing worked out right away when I just got what I had, put it together, and tried to see if something would happen. You have to earn it. And if there's no challenges, I heard a podcast on esoteric Terror Nerd once on self-initiation, where Frater Barabbas, I don't really know who he is, but I know he made one really good point, which is that the key to self-initiation, even if it is possible, is the challenge. There has to be the challenge, and it's very hard to challenge ourselves. That's why when we're in an order or a college of some sort, challenges are put upon us that the teacher can see will be challenging for us, that we can nevertheless still accomplish. And that's something we have a hard time setting for ourselves. And it's knowing that bar is there in front of us and someone will hold it to us that triggers some sort of different behavior in us. It lights a fire on us. It stokes a flame hotter than we can usually stoke it for ourselves. And that pressure cooker creates this transformation we call initiation. Thus we find the Christian Magus, who imposed his power upon the world, taking the existing worships and making a single system combining all their merits. There is no single feature in Christianity which has not been taken bodily from the worship of Isis, or of Mithras, or of Bacchus, or of Adonis, or of Osiris. In modern times, again we find Alan Bennett, Bhikkhu Ananda Matea, trying to handle Buddhism. All these people, of course, were trying to syncretize and bring in what mysteries they could to lead them on their path to enlightenment, or beyond enlightenment, since enlightenment is really the starting point in Western mysteries. The challenge is once you go up to heaven, then you have to survive going to hell and climbing back out of hell. And that's the work of the adept. Others, again, have attempted to use Freemasonry. There have been even exceptionally foolish magicians who have tried to use a sword long since rusted. I was probably referring to many things in that little gem of a sentence. Wagner illustrates this point very clearly in Siegfried. The great sword Nothung has been broken, and it is the only weapon that can destroy the gods. The dwarf Mime tries uselessly to mend it. When Siegfried comes, he makes no such error. He melts its fragments and forges a new sword. In spite of this intense labor, which this costs, it is the best plan to adopt. There you can see Crowley talking very much about he saw himself in his own magical trick. Okay, I hope you're enjoying this. This is Eliphas Levi, The Key of the Mysteries, Magic Without Fears, Hermetic Podcast by Frater RC. Hermetic Podcast, 2.95 thousand subscribers, 295 videos. The most popular is Journey to the East, Hermann Hesse's classic audiobook. And then a fascinating conversation with Damien Eccles and Shem Ha Mefarash and DMT. This is a lot of good content on this channel. Let's just finish listening to this. There's about 5 more minutes. Here we go. Is melting down all the previous ones, including the Golden Dawn, and burnishing them into the Book of the Law and the OTO and the AA and all of his magical works. And that's fair. You know, you can say that's what we all have to do in a sense. Though I know many who would say that isn't the work of the initiate or the adept. That is the work of the greater adept. You have to make your own system eventually at 5, 6, 5, and 7, 4, and then achieve the whole path you've achieved through the system that you were given in your own system afterwards. But if it's not a successive step, if that's your initial attempt, you're fucked. Crowley says Lévy completely failed to capture Catholicism, and his hope of using imperialism, his endeavor to persuade the emperor that he was the chosen instrument of the Almighty, this is Napoleon, of course, a belief which would have enabled him to play Maximus to little Napoleon's Julian, was shattered once and for all at Sedan. See, that's the mystery, really, that Crowley didn't ever learn, because he didn't stay and get trained in the Second Order of the Golden Dawn. He didn't get any of that. He barely got a 5-6 initiation at best before he melted down the pieces of that sword and all the other swords, Buddhism, Freemasonry, everything he could find, OTO, because it was already in existence. He just took it and melted it down and made his own. He did this process before actually mastering any other processes. That's the problem I see with Crowley. He tried to become a master of masters without having become a master first, and you see that in a lot of his later workings, in his failure with the Enochian Ethers and his failure with the Abramelin. I'm probably losing some listeners here, but that's okay. I've shown recently in the past couple months plenty of love for Crowley and appreciation for his contributions to the world. I think I should be allowed a little critique here and there. And it's just my opinion, so come on, chill out. Crowley's great accomplishment is that he created something that has lasted far, far beyond him. And if it wasn't for his addition of the letter K to the word magic, which I hate, we might not know about it. It might have died out in a major way or just gone so far underground that it was only alive in Waldorf schools and Freemasonry and the archives of different libraries and not become the revolution it has today as we await for the end times and the aliens to eat us all in the fifth dimension to merge the timelines and whatever else is going to happen. I don't know. Canada's locked down so hardcore I can't even find an apartment. So we're going to just go with the flow from here and see what happens. Deal? Deal. It is necessary for the reader to gain this clear conception of Livy's inmost mind if he is to reconcile the contradictions which leave Waite petulant and bewildered. I sort of love how much he takes shots at Waite. Like, why not? Hey, Waite came on too strong. Christian stuff just don't belong. That's a shout out to Edward there in the Order of the Golden Dawn band. It is the sad privilege of the higher order of mind to be able to see both sides of every question and to appreciate the fact that both are equally tenable. Such contradictions can, of course, only be reconciled on a higher plane, and this method of harmonizing contradictions is, therefore, the best key to the higher planes. Harmonizing contradictions. We've said so much about these mysteries beyond the abyss before, we don't need to say more about them now. And they really are best learned in context of the practical techniques once you cross the veil of Paraket, but we're not there. We're going to chill out in Asaya, in Malkut, for a long time. So, chill. I've said that too much, haven't I? I know. It's freezing cold up here. I can't. I keep thinking of being chill and cold, and it doesn't stop. At the end, Crowley says it seems unnecessary to add anything to these few remarks. This is the only difficulty in the whole book, though in one or two passages Levy's extraordinarily keen sense of humor leads him to indulge in a little harmless bombast. Who doesn't love that? We may instead instance his remarks on the grimoire of Honorius. We'll get there some other time. We have said that this is the masterpiece of Levy. He reaches an exaltation of both thought and language, which is equal to that of any other writer known to us. And that is high praise. And it's a good book to dip into over the years. I always recommend Levy as a good place to consult and get insights on things that you're studying, but not make it the focus of any of your studies, since he never really did show any signs of practice, just a beautiful mind for theorizing. I don't know what else to say, folks, but I'm going to do what I can, when I can, while I can, wherever I'm at. Conks, Pax, Light and Extension.
Santa Bucks are back at Meijer. Now through Saturday, you decide what's on sale and save even more on the things you love. Like a Nintendo Switch Lite, just $199.99. Or a fur-real Mama Josie the Kangaroo for $49.99. And save time and get your groceries delivered with Meijer Home Delivery, so you can stay out of the elements on these chilly winter days. Enjoy the great deals at Meijer. Exclusions apply. Visit Meijer.com to get started.
Lao Tzu puts it in this way: the great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And when merits are accomplished, it lays no claim to them. The more, therefore, you relinquish power, trust others, the more powerful you become. But in such a way that instead of having to lie awake nights, controlling everything, you do it beautifully by trusting the job to everyone else. And they carry it on for you. So you can go to sleep at night trust your nervous system to wake you up in the morning. You can even tell it, I want to wake up at 6 o'clock, and it'll wake you up just like an alarm clock. This seems a sort of paradox to say this, but the principle of unity, of coming to a sense of oneness with the whole of the rest of the universe, is not to try to obtain power over the rest of the universe. That will only disturb it and antagonize it and make it seem less one with you than ever. The way to become one with the universe is to trust it as another, as you would another, and say, let's see what you're going to do. Now, in doing that, you see, in saying that to everything else that you have been taught to think is not you, you are also saying it to yourself. Because finally, as I pointed out, you do not know where your decisions come from. They pop up like hiccups. And when you make a decision, people have a great deal of anxiety about making decisions. There's this guy a farmer, who ordered a help man to come in, and found he was an extraordinarily efficient worker, because the first day he put him on sawing logs. And he sawed more logs than anybody had ever sawed. It was fantastic. But they were all done in one day. So the next day he put him on to mending fences. And there were all kinds of broken fences around the farm, and in one day he had the whole thing done. So he thought, what am I going to do with this guy? So he took him down into a basement and said, look, here are all the potatoes that have come in from this harvest, and I want you to sort them into 3 groups. Those that we sell, those that we use for seeding, and those that we throw away. So he left him at that. At the end of the day, the laborer came back and said, well, that's enough, mister. I quit. Oh, he said, you can't quit. I've never had such an excellent worker. I'll raise your salary. I'll do anything to keep you around me. I said, no. It's all right mending fences and chopping wood, but this potato business is decision after decision after decision after decision. So when we decide, we're always worrying, did I think this over long enough? Did I take enough data into consideration? And if you think it through, you find you never could take enough data into consideration. The data for a decision in any given situation is infinite. So what you do is, you go through the motions of thinking out what you will do about this. And then when the time comes to act, you make a snap judgment. I mean, I'm speaking a little extremely, making some fun of it and so on, because after all, we do occasionally get the vague outlines of things and make a right decision on rational grounds. But we fortunately forget the variables that could have interfered with this coming out right. It's amazing how often it works. But warriors are people who think of all the variables beyond their control and what might happen. So then when you make a decision, and it works out all right, I think very little of it has much to do with your conscious intent and control. But somehow or other, you are able to decide and control things more harmoniously if you delegate authority. That's why very great businessmen are those who can delegate authority. Trust others to work for them. Because those are people developing businesses on the same basic structure that is fundamental to a living organism. Delegation of authority. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And you see, then what is happening is this. The more you let go of it and trust it, as if it were quite other than you, the more you realize the inseparable identity of self and other. To go back, if you try to find the identity of self and other by subjecting other to self, no go. If, on the other hand, you find it through giving self, that is control, over to other, and trusting that, you may make a mistake. You may make a bad gamble. But in the long run, you're acting on a principle which has the backing of evolution. This is the way biological evolution goes on. Constant delegation of authority. That's why, obviously, the democracy is superior to the monarchy. Mr. Tocqueville who said that democracy is always right, but for the wrong reasons. Because there is operating in a democracy the principle that Buckminster Fuller calls synergy. And synergy is the intelligence of a highly complex system, the nature of which is always unknown to the individual members. Because that goes back again to this point, that we're always entering a new environment. We don't ever know fully what the new environment is, because the only environments we know are the past ones. There is always then operating in the development of cellular life on any level a new way of organization, higher than any existing form, and we are not aware of it until after it's happened. If you ever saw, for example, the film Kon-Tiki, this man figured out a few things as to how to make a balsa wood raft to sail from South America to the Pacific Islands. But once he had set this in motion...
Okay, everybody. We're gonna try to find an Eliphas Levi magic hypnosis. Okay, this is called Transcendental Magic.
Summary and general key of the 4 secret sciences. Let us now summarize the entire science by its...
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today I'm going to talk about the astral light of Eliphas Levi. This is believed to be the secret of occult science, the secret of magic and occultism. This is believed to be the great arcanum, the mystery of mysteries. And Madame Blavatsky, the writer of The Secret Doctrine and Isis Unveiled, also believed this to be the great secret of secrets. This concept of Levi and Blavatsky is found in different sages going back centuries. This great mystery, this secret agent that is believed to be the key of occultism, goes back possibly 2,000 years. So today we are going to talk about this great mystery, the astral light, which is believed by some to be the key of occult science, which Eliphas Levi symbolized by Baphomet, or Baphomet, who was the goat of Mendes with 2 horns, the flame of intelligence, the Hermetic sign, 1 arm going up with the Latin word solve, which in Latin means to dissolve, and an arm pointing down that says coagula, to coagulate, to dissolve and to coagulate, pointing up to the moon of Chesed and downward towards the moon of Gevurah, the powers of justice and mercy, having masculine and feminine attributes. This all comes from the androgyny of the alchemist Heinrich Kunrath. So today we're going to be talking about the astral light. And in my last video, I went more over the theory. Today we're going to be going a little deeper now into the practice of this supposed great secret that binds all things together. It is the glass of visions. It is the universal mercury.
Mercury!
The azalt and the magnesia of the alchemists.
Hermes!
It is the bond of sympathies that binds together celestial and sub-celestial things. It binds together. If you look at the magician card, he holds his wand up and directs energy down. This is the great Mercury. And not surprising, the magician card in the tarot is ascribed to the letter Beit, which is Bereshit in the beginning, bara, to create. The first word of the Bible, Bereshit, bara, in the beginning created, ascribed to Mercury, which also the Aleph, above and below. And so this formula is found in solve and coagula. Solve is the Latin word for dissolve. It's a solid becoming a liquid. Coagula is a liquid becoming a solid. And this could be expressed as to concentrate and to project, or as to concentrate and to diffuse. The astral light is believed to be an energy that fills all space. It is an energy that fills all space, all present ether, energy, akasha, a force that is believed to fill all things, so omnipresent in fact that it does not admit of a vacuum anywhere, and that we are able to accumulate this energy and to transfer it, okay? An energy that fills all space. Now in a moment I'll go into the androgynous twofold nature of this work. It requires a strong will and the ability to concentrate upon one thought. Now, before I go into this formula of the great magnum opus, the great work, Solve et Coagula, first of all, I'd like to go over this concept of an energy that fills all space, believed by Eliphas Levi, Madame Blavatsky, Carl Mesmer, and many others.
Q theory, M theory.
Now, looking at different traditions, if you allow this, to take a moment to compare different traditions from around the earth, the whole world. In China, this energy is called qi. Or rather, in China, they believe in an energy that fills everything called qi. And we all have our own qi in our bodies, this life energy. But qi is said to be throughout nature. It's found in trees and stones and plants, minerals. The mountains have qi. And if you get into feng shui, you see this concept of the qi of the universe. So an energy that fills all space in China. In Japan, this is called Qi, where you get the words Reiki or Qigong. Okay, so that's China, Japan. If you go to Hawaii, the natives call this energy mana, and it's called a similar thing in Polynesia. And yet if you go to West Africa, so we have China, Japan, Polynesia. If you go to West Africa, to the peoples of Nigeria, the Yoruban peoples, they have what they call Ache. This is West Africa. And this belief is very well proven. Ask someone that is a practitioner of Lukumi. What is Ache? Ache in Africa, in West Africa, is an energy that fills all space. It is magical power, an energy that fills everything. And this religion came to the United States as what most people call Santeria, which is a pejorative term. Its preferable term is Lukumi, my friend. So you see in Africa, China, Japan, in India, they call this prana. So all over the world is this belief in a sort of universal ether or energy. And the ancients of late antiquity in Greece and Rome called this the anima mundi, the soul of the world's soul, of which we are all a portion. There's the physical body of nature, and then there's the soul of the world that permeates all things. And in the Renaissance, Marsilio Ficino, Trithemius, Cornelius Agrippa, in his 3 books of occult philosophy, talked about the anima mundi, the world's soul, connecting celestial bodies to herbs and talismans. I'll get into that in a minute. Solve et coagula. What does this mean? Very simple. It's to concentrate and project. So we've already established the theory that there's an energy that fills all space. Call it life force or whatever, the astral light. And that we all have an aura around our bodies, that we're able to accumulate this energy, and we're able to project this energy into objects, into things. So magic from this standpoint is merely directing your energies into a situation.
Hermes, what's up? I'm gonna keep playing this thing. Do you want to say something? What was that?
I said you're gonna keep playing it?
Yeah. Did you want to say something? Did something strike a chord or something? I stepped out to do my dishes.
Yeah, he was talking about just like 5 minutes ago or less. He was saying different cultures calls it different things.
Yeah.
And first thing that came to my mind was puta.
It's kind of interesting. He said the word for the pervasive energy in Japan they call ki, and then in China they call it chi. But it's kind of amazing how in the English language we use the word key to open doors. So, anyways, all right. I hope you're having a great day. I'll chat with you soon. I'm gonna keep playing this. There's about 20 minutes left. Here we go.
Or to affect an individual, to direct your energies into someone. This is a universal mercury that connects all things. It connects you as an individual, so the theory goes, to events and to people. Therefore, with magical ritual, with spells, you're able to affect people and events. Why? Because I'm connected to events and people through this ether, this energy. So goes the belief. So the key to magic is to concentrate this energy, to imprint it with a desire, and to release it. Okay. So, yeah. To have control is to concentrate with will upon one thing and to project this force into events, people, to fix and move, coagulate, and to dissolve. This is the great androgyny. So, breaking this down, what is ritual? You could say that ritual, in a spell, in a magical sense, ritual is a symbolic representation of your desire. For example, to bind two people together in love, you may make a doll of each person and tie them together in red thread. That's an example. It's a symbolic, a ritual is a symbolic act that represents a desire. Or the cavemen are going to go hunt deer. So they make clay statues of deer and break them with their spears. This is a symbolic representation of a desire. To hurt an enemy, I'm not encouraging it, it's just an example. You make a voodoo doll, which is kind of a wrong term, but you make a doll and you stick needles in it. I'm not encouraging anything bad, it's an example. These are all symbolic actions that represent your desire. Now, how can this be effective unless you are imprinting your energy with a desire? So you're imprinting energy with a desire, building that energy up with your will and the focus of mind, and releasing that energy to go do its work. Now, in the magic system of the Golden Dawn, and in the magic of Aleister Crowley, in his Magic Book 4, Magic Theory and Practice. And as you see in Wicca, or witchcraft, the Wiccan religion, it's common to raise what they call a cone of power. So this means that you focus on your desire. You focus, let's say you're sitting down, how to induce trance and raise energy. By the way, I did make a video on this. If you look up Taliesin McKnight, trance, raise energy, you'll see this. To induce trance and raise energy, you focus on your desire. Say a new job. I want a new job. You focus, concentrate on your desire. Your concentration of your mind, your will, I want it. This is what I want. Your focus is imprinting your energy with your goal. And then you may sway back and forth, or you may say a chant, and you repeat the chant, such as new job. You can just say new job, and you sway back and forth very slowly. And you focus on your goal, you will it, you want it. And then you sway faster, new job. You focus, you want the new job. As you go faster and you focus your desire, you're building up energy. And when you get to a peak, you release your energy. And then you forget about it. That's an example of to concentrate and release. That's why it's good when you cast a spell or do magic or ritual to forget about it afterwards. Okay? So that's an example. Focus on your desire with one pointedness. And you raise energy, focus on your desire. You're imprinting your energy with that goal. With the force of will and concentrated thought. And that is why the ability to concentrate thought and a powerful will are central to practical occultism. Now, another method is called the cone of power. Instead of sitting and swaying back and forth, building and focusing, you may repeat a chant, and once you get to your high point, you release. A lot like sex, really, which this is applied sometimes to the sex act. Notice, to dissolve and to coagulate. The image of Baphomet is masculine feminine. Just like sex, you build, and then you get to that point and you have and orgasm. I'm just saying, kind of goes into this whole, thing. So anyways, going into the cone of power thing. Okay, so you focus on your goal and you walk around in a circle and you repeat a chant. You begin slowly and you repeat your chant and you go faster and faster. At a certain point, focusing your whole will on your desire. At a certain point of going in a circle and focusing and repeating a chant over and over, it creates a sort of trance state or a hypnotic state. Sort of like the dances that you see in voodoo, different religions. Not the same, but I'm saying you go into a trance with going faster in the dancing, or just moving around, focusing your thought. You go into a point to where you get this sort of ecstatic trance. And that's your peak, and you release the energy. You build up and you release, okay? So that is coagula, to concentrate, and solve, to dissolve, to focus and release energy. And this is how magic is working with energy. So let's go on into some other things. When you do a candle spell, what you're doing is you take, say, a red candle for a love spell. You may take a red candle. Okay. Red is a symbol of love. Or sexuality. You may take a needle and write your desire around. You focus on your goal and you write your desire around and around and around, like a barber's pole. Okay, this candle represents your desire. You write your desire, you focus on your desire, or you may carve symbols representing your goal into the candle. You hold that candle, you pray over it, you focus on your goal, you push that desire, that energy into the candle. If you're working with herbs, you might break these up and focus on your goal, direct your energies into the herbs, or actually speak to the herbs, in a sense, to put your intentions there. Heat it in oil and then anoint this candle. And then you may recite prayers, you may recite the Song of Solomon, you may just focus on your goal, you light that candle. This whole time, doing these actions, you're focusing your desire and you're directing that energy into the candle, which represents your desire. You are building, in a sense, a thought form, an energy. Okay, this could be applied in hoodoo to throwing powders or laying tricks. You put energies into these powders, you focus your goal, you mix them, you tell them what you want, and you go put it where someone will step on it or to affect a target, a building. So this is just one way of looking at how this, okay, there are three basic models of magic. Okay, where's my pen? You have the consciousness model, which is blown way out of proportion. Why do I say out of proportion? Because everyone in occultism is familiar with the consciousness model. Thought manifests. Your thoughts that you're sending out manifest. Mentalism. But this is only part of this bigger picture. And you need to understand that modern occult authors, most modern books, are not very good sources of occultism. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's true. The reason is because all this deeper knowledge is not in these books. These books are written for the average person, which is not expected to understand all this deeper stuff. Books that are popularly going around don't really have the keys, this deeper philosophy behind it. In order to really get to the full picture of occultism, you have to dig deeper. And that means going back to more older writers, okay? Now, one thing I will say is a lot of the writers of the 19th century
working on the distribution inventory, what are the markets where they could actually gain more in order for it to have a commercial case. I do.
Isa, are you preparing for your finals?
Can you please kick him out? I'm not.
Oh no, she's emotionally unstable. Oh no, she loves to hear herself talk.
were collectors of ancient lore, and as such had a lot of deep knowledge. But a lot of stuff being published right now is not very good sources. Anyways, so the first model that everyone's familiar with is mentalism, consciousness model.
Like intentionality. It doesn't even have to, like the model doesn't even necessitate intentionality.
I'm sorry, Tim, but what is it? This is Tiffany Sotheby. What is intentionality? I don't know.
Shaloi. What's up, Shaloi?
Bye-bye, nice Shaloi.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Shavua Tov.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if you heard like the consideration I gave for like why it seems intuitively objectionable to me to say
I did, but maybe run it by really quick. Maybe I didn't catch it like fully.
Yeah. So again, like if we're talking about something that doesn't have like like a capacity to make choices based on intentional states, then it seems that to me intuitively that the reasons for why it is a certain thing would be an internal compelling or an external compelling.
I can't
right?
not know this.
Can't be twisted otherwise. And so
this bus driver like a license to steal. What's he throwing me over? Oh God. It's a garbage thing. It's already taking your attention. Now he's fucking with mine. What am I supposed to do about it? Am I under indictment? Sorry, Junior, I don't want to rip open no wounds. I'm in no shape for disharmony. You and I both know. He's gotta go.
That's my nephew you're talking about. I dare you go in my own home.
Oh, Junior, this fucking guy was supposed to be laid on in Miami a year ago. I know it.
But like, what could be the possible explanation as to why he could do like one thing over another? It's not just his nature; it doesn't have the capacity to make choices or choose.
I left my brother's house one night, and my wallet was locked. I'm talking about a 10-year-old girl here, Richie.
But I think I hear what you're saying.
I'll finish what you were going to say.
The only small concern there is that maybe it's just like concern is begging the question against I'm not criticize you or anything. I'm just saying, like, it sounds like unless it has intentionality or the ability to make a choice, then it just can't be. Like, I understand intuition, but then, that's why he was laying out this idea that you have these swings and they're vibrating, and that, they have my understanding of it, hopefully, family's still there. My understanding was it's just like there's two options there. There's option A and option B, right? That's what he said, something like that. Like the contingent factors could be A or it could be B. Or that's basically all you need. So if it could create everything, or it could create nothing, that seems like that would be.
I said, stick 'em up, everybody. I'm robbing this place.
We're trying to explore options that seem explanatory power behind it. Without needing to explain exactly it's only just what's going to seem that it makes sense and that it could be possible based on our understanding of the fundamental principles of life. So that's kind of like you got to was like me trying to understand what was meant by sort of God having a will. Like how does will sort of come into play to change this? And so like we went with like thought experiment of like taking into account that this thing's static, so God's static and unchanging. God actualizes some state of affairs, some dynamical system, some world. In principle, God could always stop actualizing that world and sort of reset back to the very first state of just God. At which point, I have the question, well, would God then, like, by its nature, have to re-actualize everything it had actualized previously? Because nothing about it has changed. And we're back to the exact same sort of state of affairs we started with. Does it have to now bring about the same worlds or universes or whatever that it actualized prior to stopping its actualization? And my understanding was what Eamon saying is no, it could actualize different things. And in that, I can't see how the problem with that his objections to what we were talking about previously were sort of just come about without an explanation all the way down, bring it down from the point. And so, like, desires and intentionality were brought up as being like the things that affect us. And so we're saying that it's going to have the same desires, the same intentional states. But there's going to be some other part of it that doesn't affect what it's going to do, but there's going to be some other part of it which we, I guess, assign the free will aspect that will say, hey, you can do this thing or some other things. And to me, that is just like the piece that Eamon was objecting to. Can I explain to you why it's not I don't accept your explanation. So it still seems that we have your explanation. Okay, so one more time. Child model. Okay, so just like that. Yeah, okay, so you never said that explain the actualizing. It's a will, and so it's not saying that the God's nature obviously is not the universe. Right? But we're saying the will, how the will is categorized is that there are intentional states and desires that pertain to God making a certain choice over another, right? What we're not saying is that this happens to be deterministic in the sense that God designed
anytime you touch it. Check out this sword, this gladius that was in our shop. The customer touched it.
That's why he actualized.
And those are the fingerprints he left.
Okay.
Thank you,
We're just saying that process.
This is why you need to clean your blade anytime you touch it. Check out this sword, this gladius.
So that's why.
3,
What I'm saying is this analogous to your example, because when you gave me a non-deterministic selection based on no will or desires whatsoever, it just seems like you're reporting something without any explanation in principle, but just saying it's logically possible. So that's why it's this analogous. So my rebuttal to that would be like, okay, so we're saying something, there could be some explanation in principle. We don't know what it is, we don't know what it could be. We can't really describe it, but in principle, there's some explanation. For your right, okay, so but why would it then not be just the case? Because it seems like the things that we're saying are wills and the will parts and all that is the desires and intentional states, which are already accounted for. So for me to say that there is now an in-principle explanation for the undeterministic part, which is also me to say that, okay, if I accept that, that just means I made a mistake higher. And to say that there is an explanation. So you're saying that if you give me some kind of possible explanation, that it would automatically make it deterministic? What I'm saying is that the bridge this gap of the non-deterministic state. Because I did that, and I didn't make it deterministic. Yeah, so it wouldn't make it deterministic, right? At this point, we've already accounted for the things that we attribute to will, the desires and intentional states, which are unchanging. And so for it to be able to produce something different, there has to be the non-deterministic part, which we can't describe. Only if the desires are exhaustively what explains why God does what he does, which means there's some kind of compelling going on. So you're saying that they're not exhaustive? It's not just the intentional states and the desires are up to take it up to a point, and then that's what pertains to his will. So that's what pertains to his will, right? All right? not improbable. You would have to be subject.
Powers like that right there.
No, so it's not that because like he's unchanging. I don't know like what you're committed to by saying he's unchanging. Like right there. But like God like being unchanging.
What are you gonna do?
About him. Well that doesn't mean that God can't make the choice non-deterministically to actualize things. Or that he doesn't have competing realities.
I think he is quivering his lip.
Those are fine with me. It's the non-deterministic part. However, that object would also be like whatever that looks like.
This bizarre animal
Did I
is
have
taking
a
over, so they can
mechanism of
teleport
action?
in the...
Or did I ask you a possible explanation part?
Yeah. That's what you're asking. That's the part where we where I think, yeah, right, yeah.
Someone that describes it as mechanism of action, we're at that point where it's possible.
This is the Russian Verba defense missile, which is considered one of the best in its class in terms of capabilities. Verba cannot be deflected with flares or infrared disruptors, such as AN/ALQ-140.
Let's forget about what I said. Maybe I was wrong about that.
This is the Russian...
What is it that
I'm going to borrow the same principle process that God utilizes that not the fixed intentional states and desires that we then associate with will.
One that's 10K now, you need one?
Can you like say that again?
One negative
Sure, yeah, I'm going to invoke the same process that God uses for his non-deterministic selection. Once we get past the point of taking into consideration desires and intentional states, once we get to the non-deterministic process, I'll just invoke that exact same process, which is just in principle, it could be something, and apply it to the middle ground. So we're removing.
So finally, we're getting to the point. We're finally getting to the point of what that could possibly be. Okay, so let's go.
Right. So what could it possibly be?
You guys have a point?
No.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like the first conversation. It's just a continuing, like a conversation that we've been having. It's like 5-6 conversations we already had about this, right? And this has been the central question, I think, for the last like 2 or 3 at least sheets. Is that like what could, in part, possibly be the explanation for it if it's not a will?
Well, the will includes intentional states and desires. So I'm saying, because at some point when the decision gets made, right, when the choice gets made, those things come into consideration, the intentional states and desires, but they don't fully explain what the selection is going to be, because we're going to say that it's a non-deterministic selection. So there's going to be
we're just rephrasing the same things over and again, right? But that's not what we were talking about. Now we were talking about the example of you where you're saying it is possible that it could be not a will, right? But still non-deterministic. So now we've gotten to the will part, right? We've explained how that makes sense and that it's possible in principle, like the in-part explanation for it. So like now that we've cleared that up and that like I've given you that, right? Now you should give me the other side of it, right? Where there's a selection that's happening non-deterministically. It's not just solely based on its nature. There's no external forces to actualize what's happening. It's only internal, and it's not a will.
Yeah, it's going to be the same process, stripped of the desires and intentionals that are going to affect the possible.
That's just re-saying that it's not a will.
So what's the point? What is the point?
Well, the point is hopefully to get Cheese to realize that he's like arbitrarily saying these things, right? It's not like, I think you put too much stock in logical possibility, Cheese, and to where like you're saying that like, so if I can like, imagine something like this happening or something like that, then, I could just invoke it. But are you invoking anything specific? Like again, not a mechanism of action, just a possible way of looking at it, right?
Yeah, so I've
the opposite could be true.
What? No, I'm saying something more. I'm saying we're invoking the same mechanism, stripped of the intentional states and desires. So the part that isn't deterministic.
How could it be the same mechanism? If you're how can you like be stripping what it is that partially explains what's happening and then say it's the same mechanism?
Because you're left with the part that is non-deterministic. If you remove the deterministic factors from it, you're left with the non-deterministic part. What?
The desires, like I just finished explaining that those aren't deterministic, and we're just saying those are what in part explains the selection, right? Now, what I want is there can be a selection that happens without that. It's non-deterministic, and there's nothing external that is the reason why for it, right? It's only internal, and it's not a will, and so it could possibly be.
Sorry. I need to ask questions now, because you said the desires and intentional states aren't deterministic. They just are, right? They're not changing. They just are. They weren't determined to be that way.
I think. Why do you have to ask me a question? We already went through this will thing so many different.
Hey, excuse me, gentlemen, can I jump in here? This is Tiffany Sotheby. I've heard this before on Clown House. I don't know if you guys are aware, but you guys are just doing an infinite regression or a circular watermelon logic game, and you're totally unaware of how you're wasting your time here on a Sunday just by saying the same shit 10 different ways. I mean, give it up, let it go, move the conversation forward, take a deep breath, grab your balls, little boys, go home to mommy, go home to mommy. Beta baby boys, let it go, beta baby boys, you're just gonna waste your time. Okay, Tiffany Sotheby is complete.
Yeah, so I feel like if I were to ask him any questions about contracting the conversations, you wouldn't be able to answer any, right? But that's fine. If he wants to give his opinion, that's cool. Okay? This is a conversation that Cheese and me have been having for a while. We were going to make it private, but whatever, it's public, okay? And so you guys can, jump in.
No, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate this. Like, it's been really fun so far. I mean, I don't have anything else to add.
Confusion.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
So
Continue.
I understand, in a room where there's other people, it's going to be harder to do that, but I actually want people to get.
No, I'm glad, bro. I'm glad here. I'm glad that this happened. This is happening publicly. Yeah.
I'm a little irritated. I'm not going to lie.
To reduce irritation, should I speak to Nizam?
Reduce irritation. Jeez, I don't think you're capable of that, man.
Please speak to Nizam. Go ahead.
Okay, Nizam.
No, I don't, bro. No, hold on. I don't think I can do justice to this topic like Ivan is. Although I am following what he's saying.
Nizam, you can do it.
I could, but I'm Cheese is my lovely friend.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Cheese is my friend too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the hot seat, Nizam. I don't think it's fair.
I know. I
can't actually.
You don't have my consent. I plead the fifth. Okay, okay. You know what? Fine. I'll take the hot seat from Ivan for a bit. Okay. While he recovers, I think he's Ivan, go make some tea, man. Go grab some chai. I don't know.
I'm gonna go get some food, brother. I've been yapping uncontrollably.
Yeah. Grab some food, man. Yeah. Get the carbs. Yeah.
Maybe Nizam, if we can choose a savior for you. Family, have you been following? Okay. Do you understand where I'm going wrong?
No, I don't need a savior. I can do it. I'm just a little lazy.
No, let Nizam go.
All right, Nizam. So we're at this state where we're looking at a fundamental thing that has makes a selection between a plurality of possibilities, and it actualizes one of them over the other. And to say that it could actualize one at some point, there's going to be a non-deterministic process that isn't described, isn't describable in principle or whatever, right? So now we're saying, okay, so let's see if we can solve this problem by introducing a will. And by introducing a will, it seems to me that we've introduced the desires and intentional states, but there's still the non-deterministic part, right? Because we can say that, hey, these things can